Welcome back. Today we'll be searching for Nevada State historical markers numbers 246 to 250. Let's go ahead and start this adventure off up at Lake Tahoe, more specifically State Route 28 in Incline Village. The area where this marker is located used to stand in front of the old Ponderosa Ranch, if you remember the old TV show. Anyway, the old Ponderosa Ranch is now gone, and our first marker in this series is all that remains of a time gone by. So here's marker number 246, the Great Incline of the Sierra Nevada. The Great Incline of the Sierra Nevada. Located on the mountain above are the remnants of the Great Incline of the Sierra Nevada, completed in 1880. This 4,000-foot-long lift was constructed by the Sierra Nevada Wood and Lumber Company. A unique steam-powered cable railway carried cordwood and lumber up 1,800 feet to a V-flume, which carried the lumber down to Washoe Valley, where it was loaded on wagons for use in the mines of the Comstock. Driven by an engine on the summit, 8,000 continuous feet of wire cable wrapped around massive bull wheels pulled canted cars up a double-track tram line. This engineering feat would transport up to 300 cords a day from the mill located in what is now Mill Creek. Nevada State Historical Marker, number 246. Let's travel down State Route 431 back to Reno. Located at 50 South Virginia Street is the old combined Reno Post Office and Federal Building that once housed such agencies as the VA, FBI, IRS, SSA, Department of Agriculture, and the Bureau of Reclamations. But between the old building and the Truckee River is two markers, a previous marker, marker number 245, and the next marker on our quest, marker number 247, site of Nevada's first public library, which sadly was sold for $1 and destroyed in 1931. So let's take a look at marker number 247. Site of Nevada's first public library. In 1895, Washoe County District Attorney Frank H. Norcross, later a Chief Justice of the Nevada Supreme Court and a federal judge, began a drive to establish Nevada's first free public library in Reno. That year, he persuaded the Nevada legislature to enact a law establishing Nevada's public libraries. The state's first public library building was erected on this site in 1904, with $15,000 donated by philanthropist Andrew Carnegie on land originally donated to the city of Reno by pioneer Myron C. Lake. It remained in service until 1930, when growth forced its relocation to the site where the Pioneer Theater Auditorium now stands. The library was sold for $1 and demolished in 1931. In 1966, the library was relocated to a new building at Center and Liberty Streets, 3 blocks south of this site. Nevada State Historical Marker, number 247. Now, let's drive 0.6 of a mile south down South Virginia Street. Next, we'll need to turn left onto East Taylor Street, and our next marker will be found on a little grassy knoll. So here's marker number 248, Virginia and Truckee Railroad Right-of-Way. Virginia and Truckee Railroad Right-of-Way. The Virginia and Truckee Railroad was built between 1868 and 1872 to connect the mining and milling communities of the Comstock to the Central Pacific Railroad that ran through Reno. The line first connected Virginia City to Carson City in 1869, but work to run the rail north moved quickly. Soon after Chinese laborers graded this section during the summer of 1871, track gangs commenced laying rail south, reaching Steamboat Springs by late October. 9 months later, Superintendent Henry M. Urington drove the last spike a mile west of Carson City on August 24, 1872, connecting Virginia City with Reno by rail. Although regularly scheduled passenger service didn't begin until October 1st, the first through train traversed the 52-mile route on September 1st, 1872. The last passed by here on May 31st, 1950. Nevada State Historical Marker, number 248. Next, we'll now have to drive 420 miles southeast to Caliente. Once at the north end of town, we'll have to turn right at North Spring Street and cross the train tracks. Then take another right on Clover Street. At about a quarter mile will be the Caliente City Hall and our next marker, marker number 249, Union Pacific Depot, 1923. Side note, this is another overlooked typo in the State Historical Preservation Office. This marker and our previous one both share the same number, so technically there are two number 248s in the state, but officially is recognized as marker number 249. Union Pacific Depot, 1923. Constructed as a Union Pacific Railroad depot in 1923, this Mission Revival structure was designed by well-known Los Angeles architects John and Donald Parkinson. The depot represents an imposing example of Mission Revival design. Much of its interior was made of solid oak, and the total cost was $83,600. The depot replaced a former structure which burned September 9, 1921. This newer facility included a restaurant and a 50-room hotel. For some years, the old depot has served Caliente as a civic center, and it's the location of city government offices. Nevada State Historical Marker, number 249. Turning around now, let's head to Carson City. Located at 100 North Stewart Street is the Nevada State Library and Archives building and the old office of the State Historical Preservation Office. Our next marker is kind of a trick to get to and see because it's hidden on the back side of the building in a little courtyard. So let's take a look at marker number 250, State Printing Building. State Printing Building. Completed in 1886, the State Printing Building is the second oldest structure built by the state within the Capitol complex. Architects Morrill J. Curtis and Seymour Pixley designed the Italianate structure to complement the older state capitol, 1870. Curtis was responsible for many significant buildings throughout Nevada and the West, including the Octagonal Library annexed to the rear of the state capitol, 1906. Like many important structures in Carson City, this building is constructed of sandstone ashlar quarried at the nearby state prison, and is a significant example of state governmental architecture for the period. From 1886 to 1964, the building housed the offices and presses of the state printer. Nevada State Historical Marker, number 250.